I love my intro. My son-in-law made that for me. The background, and I don't know where he found the music, but I love it. Good afternoon or good evening, depending on where you're at, to my LinkedIn family, or even good morning in some cases, because of some of you guys that are overseas. Hello to everyone on Facebook as well as YouTube. I'm so glad that you're all able to join us today. Normally I do this show a little bit earlier in the day, but I really wanted to have these guys on from Freedom Folk and Soul.org because we did an interview with them earlier on in the month, I think, or towards the end of March, and it was just simply amazing. Stephanie and Jeremy here are on an amazing trip, and I don't mean that like they're on acid or peyote or anything like that. But they've got this fantastic spiritual journey that's going on that I just really wanted to share with the audience and kind of dive into it a little deeper than we could on a 10-minute Coffee with Bob. So in order to accommodate their schedules and make sure that people hear about them, I wanted to do this a little bit later. So Stephanie and Jeremy, thank you so much for being on Coffee with Bob with me. I just love what you guys got going on, and I'm excited to share it with everyone.
Thank you, Bob. We're so honored and so happy to see you and so happy to be here.
Thanks. I really appreciate it. So for those people who didn't get a chance to see the first 10-minute intro that we did earlier in the month, and please go back to the my profile and you'll find it. You'll find it on YouTube, and I think you'll find it somewhere on Facebook. I'm not doing Facebook as much as I should, but yeah, I think you can find it there because it really gets you wanting to know more. Let's refresh everybody's memory about what you guys have going on.
Well, Jeremy and I are the co-founders of Freedom, Folk, and Soul, a transformational community in the healing arts. And really our passion, we've lived lives where we've come from kind of in a lot of ways being shut down or having our own pain or relationships that weren't working. And through 30 years, collectively have found these pathways to really living our lives, living our dreams, living personal freedom. And our passion then, of course, is sharing that with other people, these experiential adventures that really help people discover their own desire, their own passions, and help them find a way to remove whatever is in the way of them living their life, their dreams, their relationships. And so we're passionate about it. We're also the authors of this now best-selling book, Shaman Heart, Turning Pain into Passion and Purpose. It's a collection of 26 tales of transformation, 26 authors, all sharing how they turned their pain into living their passion and purpose.
It's an amazing book, by the way. I did pick it up. Actually, I downloaded it because I do everything off of my iPad. I didn't buy the book, although I've been looking in my mail for a signed copy of the two authors that founded the book.
Bob.
We just got our copies.
No, I'm kidding. So, all right, so let's
the authors. We were the last ones to get our authors' copies.
That's the way it always happens, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's dig in a little bit, okay? When you talk about helping people transform their pain into passion, what does that look like?
Well, I can say from my point of view, it's kind of like these God seeds, I believe. Some of us have dreams that are put into our hearts, or longings or desires. And oftentimes there are things in our life that get in the way of enjoying those, whether it's like to have a relationship or to do something with our lives. And so it really that pain almost becomes a cosmic breadcrumb to go back to that point of origin where that pain came from. And through sacred experiences, ceremonies, and initiations, or the journeys that we lead people on, they are able to go back to that point of origin and intentionally, consciously feel that pain and then release it And when it's released, when that pain is released, it becomes wise. That wound becomes wise. And we then have compassion and grace for ourselves and a new understanding that then we can enlighten and share that pathway with other people. And so many times people come to work with us because they're in pain, because they're not living the life that they want to live. And most of the time, what happens is they discover their own heart's desire and their own healing. And then they want to share that with other people. Because when you're in alignment and you're doing what you love, you want to share that. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. What would I add to that? Maybe referencing the book, because, the book was Turning Pain to Passion and Purpose, and for me, even the writing of the book was kind of a workshop in itself. And what I wanted to write was about this relationship with my doubt and my personal doubt in relationship to what my true soul purpose was, or my calling was. And so in going back and looking at that whole process, I had, remembered at a really young age of wanting to be a teacher of some kind. Sitting in the classroom, remembering the experience of that lady coming up, and just giving me her full attention, and and I can feel it in my body now, what that felt like. And, again, I mean, and then looking at the process in which, the doubt was created. And remembering at an early age, because of my family system and because, of some of the things, we all grew up with, our parents, I would say the problem with my parents is they had parents, and these people were charged with kind of giving me tools and ways of feeling my feelings and living life that they had no idea how to do, and of course, when we're young, we think our parents know everything. And then when we get to be parents ourselves or get older, we realize, well, they had no clue what they were doing.
Right. Yeah.
We had no clue. So from those events and those things, and again, not to get into the whole thing, it created a lot of doubt in me. And so, and then family expectation of I was supposed to take over the family business. So I remember from almost not even be able to admit to myself that was a real dream and passion, and then when that came to a head, like it does, when people come to us, often they're at that crossroads of I can't keep doing what I'm doing. This is not working. I want, and I know there's something better than what I'm experiencing. I'm not sure how to get there, but I know this isn't as good as it gets, and they kind of step onto the threshold. So I had that moment through addiction and just completely blowing up my whole life that, I stepped into this treatment program, and these beautiful teachers were presenting, and they just loved me. Right? They just accepted me. They seen me for who I was and not the expectation of who I was supposed to be within the family model. And that brought that same feeling back of just unconditional love and acceptance. And so it really started to awaken this dream of being a teacher again. And then here I am, I've been teaching now for 18 years.
Oh, wow.
And found my passion even further was teaching people how to be the best teachers they can be. That's part of what we do at Freedom Folk and Soul, is we do trainings to teach people how to be. And so from that pain, from that, childhood experience, from that addiction and chaos, really became my passion and purpose. And that is kind of the thing that we do with people quite often, is we go, okay, what's not working? Where did it come from? What did you develop to keep yourself safe? How can you find that little part of you and love that part of you, and reparent yourself? And how can you kind of love it all, bring it all, so that we can dream the dream that we want to dream? We can make those choices. We can take those risks and move off of survival mode. So that is our Toltec Medicine Wheel of Transformation, which is our main program that we have. That is people go through it the first time. That's the journey that they go on, is this journey of transformation,
Wow.
And then they come back and they apprentice with us, and we teach teacher skills and how all that stuff. But most of the work in being a good teacher, and you can even read this in my chapter, is we have to do our own personal work. And then we can take those wounds, and really make it our medicine to serve to the world.
Wow. See, and see, I knew you guys had an amazing story. I mean, even though we've only talked briefly a couple of times, so I'm learning just as everybody else is learning, watching this now, and it's incredible. I mean, when I talk to people, and I talk to a lot of people who are looking to start businesses, looking to find their path as far as business is concerned, and for me, it's always about let's figure out what your why is. Why are you doing this, and what for, and how is it touching you? And that's exactly what you did. That's amazing. And it's a great origin story. It really is. So thank you for sharing that. Talk a little bit about the book and the journey of the book, because that's really incredible too.
Well, so Jeremy and we lead this journey called the Toltec Medicine Wheel of Transformation, where we take people back through, we call it the medicine wheel of their life, going back, where did we maybe lose some of our passion, or stories and things happen to us where we kind of got offline. So we go back, recapitulate, inviting them through there. So we teach that in the Pyramids of Teotihuacan, which is a powerful transformational vortex of energy. It's an ancient city,
spiritual
epicenter. And so we teach there, and it's amazing.
Wait. Let's tell everybody where this city is located.
You want to say? So Teotihuacan, Mexico, is about 45 minutes outside of Mexico City, and city exists for millennia. Almost, I think, one of the oldest sections, maybe 2,500 years old.
Wow.
And different cultures, existed. The Olmecs, then the Toltecs, and then the Aztecs. At least as the history books go. Me being a study of the Toltecs and being part of that indigenous culture, understand that the Toltecs were actually part of the Aztec culture. But this was the spiritual epicenter. It was a valley that 100,000 people lived in plus in the valley. And it was the place, like people may have heard or seen on Discovery, the place of the Pyramid of the Moon and the Pyramid of the Sun. The Pyramid of the Sun is the second biggest pyramid in the world. It is unbelievably, and so we actually, move through the runes, through what we call the initiate's journey, this sacred journey through the city, doing sacred ritual in each of those places. So it's like one thing to sit down and talk about these things, but what really creates transformation is initiation and ritual, which is what we're really missing a lot of in our culture.
And really that, some people, that's a word that, people don't understand. It's really just an experience. We walk through, there's a story within the story of these ancient pyramids. And it's all about gathering our awareness as to what is working in our life and what is no longer working. And when we are walking through this intentional journey, so much begins to come to light, and we can actually, through some of the techniques that we use, from sacred journey breath work to Native American sweat lodges to all kinds of, burning our intent, writing something down on a piece of paper and burning it, these things, when we embody them, we're able to change not only our mind, but these agreements that we called in our body. So it was from this place that we teach a lot, a place that's known where divinity returns, this spiritual epicenter that we teach at, that I had been asked to be an author on another book. It was called Sacred Death. And I was writing about this experience of midwifing my grandmother from this world to the next, and this profound experience with her. And as I was writing, I had a dream, a vision, clear vision, like, oh my goodness, how amazing would it be to take 25 authors to this epicenter called Teotihuacan, and for us all to come together and take a journey that Jeremy and I would lead, and then we would all write our chapters what would that be like if we all came together with this intention, of transformation and of sharing how we turned our pain into passion and purpose. And so I called the publisher, Laura DeFranco, and of Brave Healer Productions. I said, what do you think about this idea? And she was like, let's do it. And so on January the 5th, 2022, in the middle of this pandemic, in the middle of snowstorms, canceled flights, 26 leading teachers, facilitators, preachers, ministers, leaders in their field, all somehow made it to this epicenter, Teotihuacan,
on the same day.
Nice.
And we led a journey, and it was profound. It was so powerful and profound. And our publisher helped lead us through writing how to open our hearts and tell our truths. And then we all went home and we wrote over the next 3 weeks our chapters. And then on April the 6th, Shaman Heart, Turning Pain into Passion and Purpose came out and went number 1 in 9 categories on Amazon. And we're so proud, but more happy that it's reaching people. We get emails every single day from people like, oh, that story really touched me. This story or that story. Right. About a marriage, about, all kinds of things that is part of the human experience.
Right. And what's amazing about the book, there are about 25 different stories, right? Yeah. And I don't think I've found, and I'm not all the way done yet. So just to be honest, I'm about halfway through. And so far, nothing is repetitive. Every story is unique.
Yeah.
And every story is amazing. And what amazes me the most, every story so far is transformative, right? You can, the way it is written, especially by the part by you guys, you can feel the transformation that occurs. I mean, it's just simply amazing. How did you decide who to ask to do this? I mean, how did you bring all these 25, bringing 25 people together is next to impossible, but bringing 25 people together to fly from wherever they're at in the world to Mexico, which I'm sure I'm not sure where, I've heard about these pyramids. I have seen Discovery stuff on that. I don't recall where it's at in the country, but I got to imagine it's not very easy to get to. It's just a feat.
Yeah.
Well,
it's mid Mexico, but I've been leading journeys to Teotihuacan for 15 years. And wow. We lead these journeys. So that part is like, we have, in a sense, like we've done the work, we've paid our dues, right. We know the systems, we travel all over. We travel to Peru, we travel to different parts of Mexico. A couple of years, we're going to Africa on these, sacred kind of pilgrimages. But the miracle was with the pandemic and COVID and everything. Right. And then I'll let Steph kind of speak into how she found these 26 people, because that was her.
Well, for one, we're blessed that we have a few hundred people that we have served and worked with gratefully over the last 3 or 4 years, even throughout the pandemic, some online and over Zoom. And so these people, we've witnessed their transformation. We know their stories of their life. And so my heart was called to certain people, like, are you ready to share your story? And definitely, I'll just say it's a God thing for me, whatever you want to call it. Some people call it the great mystery, the divine. God was absolutely every person, to the very last person who wrote probably the most painful story. It was just meant to be, absolutely, and thankfully, I think the work that we do, we've learned how to really trust life and then watch the magic unfold.
Yeah, it is amazing. So if you haven't picked it up yet, guys out there watching now, I highly recommend it. You can find it on Amazon. Now, I know you guys have please put that up there. Yeah, Shaman Heart. And you can find it on your website, right?
Yeah.
We have listed below here. I know you got a big event coming up that we want to talk about, right? But I also think we need to talk just really quickly for a minute and Stephanie's a country star. Let's talk about that a second.
Well, I write about that in the book, you know, and it's funny because I felt a little silly writing a little bit about this thing, but the publisher really helped me get there. Because you can't write your whole life story. You write a story for
Right.
this book. But when I was a little girl, you know, I'm Mexican American, but I obviously don't look it. But my dad's very brown, and I was taught at an early age, hey, don't tell anybody that you're Mexican. And so it was this shame from my mom. So I felt that, you know, I internalized that.
Mm-hmm.
And yet I had these visions from very early that I would be becoming singing. And so it was this inner battle that actually, and I think it's so important because this is what we teach, that wound, that sacred pain. I kept going into it to heal it, to transform it. And well, 30 years later, I then got to make history as the first artist in the history of the Grand Ole Opry to ever bring mariachi to that stage. And I've also been able to, you know, travel the world, you know, 14 countries, playing the biggest festivals, bringing what my grandmother called country music with chili peppers, joy to the world through my music. And so people can, you know, check out my music at my website, StephanieUrbinaJones.com. And, you know, I feel like all those stories I was told along the way about a lot of different things. My spirit's challenging those things.
Yeah.
You know, and that's for me important to share with people, because whatever dream is in their heart, I absolutely believe that is a God seed and something that they can live. And so I'm all about helping people find that and grow those seeds.
Yeah. See, I told you guys have an amazing story, both of you. It's just incredible.
Well, she's minimizing that a little bit.
No, it's, I mean,
you know, I want to, you know, she's a #1 country writer a couple times through, and, you know.
And you can see me on the Grand Ole Opry or tune in this Tuesday night.
Yeah.
Really? All right. I'm on that because I like that.
And Bob, you have to come sometime backstage with us.
Oh, I would be there. I would be there in a minute if you give me an advance notice, and because we love Nashville.
Okay.
And I have family down in Nashville, so
the Grand
I'll
Ole
be there.
Reaches
I'm
out.
sorry?
A couple times a year she plays the Grand Ole Opry. So
okay. Yeah, no, I'm definitely on for that. Because
Okay.
you know, you can always YouTube her as well, and there's some excellent stuff there. You have a beautiful voice. Okay, so let's talk about this event that's coming up.
Mm-hmm. So on June the 14th through the 21st, you know, again, Jeremy and I have come together, and how can we serve people? How can we give them a map? Because, you know, our souls, like that, we need some kind of mythology when we're going on a journey of transformation. And so we created a mythology within these powerful pyramids of Teotihuacan called the Toltec Medicine Wheel of Transformation. And we lead people on this journey of excavation, of discovery, with their hearts laid on this beautiful altar of Teotihuacan. And it's through ceremony and all kinds of cool initiations and fun, we transform. And so,
yeah, and I'll just say, you know, we both, you know, came to this work, or some, you know, I worked in mental health for 15 years. So I worked in drug and alcohol treatment, mental health for 15 years. So I have a little bit of that, you know, traditional therapeutic background. But the things that helped us the most, like Steph will say the story, she was in talk therapy for 20 years. And then, you know, about 20 years ago for me, I guess 15 years ago for Steph, we kind of came to these experiential, you know, experiences, spiritual experiences, sweat lodges, fire walking, Toltec mythology, Don Miguel Ruiz, who wrote the 4 Agreements, was a big Toltec teacher, Carlos Castaneda. I got to work personally with a lot of Miguel Ruiz's original apprentices, and it's just a teaching, right? It's a portal. It's a way to help navigate our internal world by using stories and symbols, to create transformation. So we kind of came together, I guess, about 7 years ago. We've been married for 5 or 6 years, doing our own work. I've been a teacher for a long time, but I was still working in the mental health field. And we came together and we created Freedom, Folk, and Soul. And breath work is something that we use. We use all these different modalities, I joke, I say, I got a drawer full of certificates, that I don't remember half of, what I have. But it was cool because we looked at what works, what helps people transform, what is engaging, and transformative. And so we came together kind of taking all of the different teachings that we learned, and we created this map of transformation called the Toltec Medicine Wheel of Transformation. And we do that in a couple of ways. We do that in Mexico and using this vortex. I mean, Teotihuacan is kind of like a Sedona. People are familiar with Sedona and the vortexes, it's like an energy. It's like a big magnifier. We also have done that, and we're doing it like right now, currently today. We have a group of people in the other room here, 12 people, that are in the process of the Toltec Medicine Wheel of Transformation. They're in their second 4-day workshop. It's 4 4-day workshops over the course of the year. In Teo, we do it over two, so it's week 1 and then week 2. You don't have to do both of them. You can do one and then the next or whatever in any kind of order. And so it's really that kind of map of how do we take what's not working, what I was describing when I talked before, of like what's not working, where am I at my crossroads? Moving through our life and a recapitulation to really dream the dream that we want to dream, to take risks, to, step away from doing it right or what society wanted us to do or what we were taught to do, and really coming more into our own sovereignty.
And I could just add this one thing. The coolest thing is, and I really wish we had before and after pictures and videos of people's life.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Every single time, our group here in Dallas, that we haven't seen them in 3 months. The last time we saw them was January. They look completely different. Their lives are already transforming. They're, taking risks. They're doing things. And it's really cool because they come back into their life. And people around their lives are like, what happened? What'd you do? What's been happening? And it's just, that's just what happens when we put our attention on our heart. We come on, do some kind of journey like this. We ultimately transform our life and come back to our own life.
You guys definitely need to have a documentary made. That's for sure. That would be amazing.
For the book, we've had the idea, it was so amazing, the whole book process. I mean, just the fact that, to me, it was spirit, God, universe, magic that got 26 people there in that's unbelievable. On a normal time, that's hard to pull off. So
if you know any documentary folks that you think might be a match, then we're open. We know that,
We'll see what we can do. A lot of LinkedIn people watch this. A lot of YouTube people watch this. So we'll see what we can do. Let's repeat again. So the event will be listed on your website.
Yeah,
right?
It's on events and journeys, and it's called the Toltec Medicine Wheel of Transformation in Teotihuacan, Mexico. It's a super easy trip on the individual. You fly into Mexico City, you get picked up, it's safe. We go to this place called the Dreaming House, and the Dreaming House is amazing where we stay. And it was created from people taking this initiate's journey 20 years ago is when it was started, the Dreaming House. And I met this guy, Alberto, and he created this whole place. So everything in the place that we're staying is centered around people being in this process of transformation. And he's a stone carver. So he has all these amazing statues and fluorite statues and obsidian balls, and everywhere you look is art. And you're kind of driving through the Mexico City, and you've all kind of seen that, the shanty town kind of, and and then they open up the gate and you like go into this oasis. I mean, it's gorgeous. You could look up the Dreaming House in Mexico and see pictures of it. And it's just, the food is amazing. You're held there. Everything's provided for us. And then we go out on these daily excursions to walk through the pyramids and do ritual. And then we come back and we have this beautiful group room and there's murals on the walls. It's just, it's delightful in a sense, and
it's June 14th through 21st. So it's, not that far down the road. And, if you're really ready to like come alive in your life and to really, begin to like, what do I want? TikTok, life is short, or is something still bugging you about, something that happened in your childhood or a divorce or a relationship?
Yeah, or a transition that's challenging,
like bring that, let's go and let's get to living.
So you can go to, you guys can go to freedomfolkandsoul.org to get information and to sign up. Do you have links there do you help people arrange the transportation? Do you help take care of all that stuff there?
So, if you are interested, go to freedomfolkandsoul.org, just, and you can, click like contact us or reach out to us. Our phone numbers are on there. Also Facebook, Freedom Folk and Soul Facebook. There's links to the events, and all that.
You can read a little bit more
and
about
you can message us, DM us on Facebook, and we could have a conversation and give you much more details on the whole thing. But yeah, it's a really simple on the, I want to say the user end, but on the person that's traveling. And when you do sign up, or if you're interested, we'll send you the whole registration form and everything. And it has like a what to pack list and the exact times to fly in and the exact time to fly out. And it's a pretty simple, trip. And we have some other trips coming up too.
We're leading a journey to Peru with one of the most, world-renowned Incan shamans, and the end of August and September. It's a lifetime journey to Peru.
Another best-selling author too.
Yeah.
Jorge Estagado.
We got magic happening. Bob, you want to go?
I actually kind of would. That sounds interesting. I'm gonna go get on the site and see what dates that we have available. And yeah, I think I would. It sounds cool.
Goodness, that'd be amazing.
And the Peru trip is amazing because Jorge lived in Peru his whole life, and he's an Incan shaman, and he speaks great English, and all that. And he's a friend of ours. We've known him for 12 years, and he's actually here at an event this weekend. And to me, it's a 12-day trip. It's a pretty long trip, but it's like there's no better way to see Peru. Like when you go to Peru, and we go to like the Sacred Valley and Machu Picchu and like Titicaca and all these sacred sites that like you might not even normally get to go to because and we stay in great hotels, and food and all that. It's a trip that's really kind of a plug and play, in a sense. Play, but you know what I mean. Like,
it sounds amazing. Actually, my daughter met her husband, my son-in-law, in Peru. She was in Peru teaching English.
Wow.
And they met on they met through a couch surfing site. Which if I would have known that she was actually couch surfing while in Peru, I probably would have got her butt back here. But turned out well. Mike is an amazing young man, and he did my opening. Yeah, I couldn't pick a better son-in-law. He's Brazilian. And he's U.S. citizen now. In fact, we were just in Brazil a couple of weeks ago to meet our granddaughter. So it was amazing. Yeah, very cool. Beautiful area.
Wow.
Yeah, we're
okay. So if you want to learn some more information about these two amazing individuals, Jeremy and Stephanie, go to freedomfolkandsoul.org. Get the book. Definitely get the book. You will not be disappointed. It's an amazing read. I'm only halfway through, but I'm telling you, it's hard to put it down because it's transformative.
To all of our stuff in the book
all
too.
all the authors are in there.
There's some write-ups
and that is the Pyramid of the Moon.
Oh, okay.
We chose that. That is the end of the Avenue of the Dead. So this is part of the initiate's journey. Ends right there at the Pyramid of the Moon.
Very
And
cool.
really cool. There's shamanheart.org is a website that has all the authors and interviews with all the authors, interviews with us, links to everybody's stuff. So
you can see a video on the homepage of our journey, which is
there's a
really,
commercial
really
and picture.
cool.
Yeah.
Shamanheart.org, right?
Yeah, shamanheart.org. And again, you can see if you're interested in going with us on the Toltec Medicine Wheel of Transformation, all those videos that you're seeing on that homepage are what we do. We go to this like amazing place in the mountains of Mexico called Las Grutas de Tolantongo, which is these like amazing caves with waterfalls. It's like Narnia in Mexico.
Oh,
So
wait, not just waterfall, like 99-degree waterfalls. Waterfalls.
Amazing.
Place on the earth, you know.
You guys need to be videotaping this stuff and start a YouTube channel with all this. This is amazing.
That's a good idea.
That's a great idea.
We do have a lot of footage. I will say this, we do other stuff. We do Zoom breathworks, and we have Freedom Folk and Soul Day at our house in Nashville. So if you are in the Nashville area or greater Nashville area, or you just want to check us out in other ways, keep an eye on our website because that stuff goes up, or our Facebook page. One thing to commit to a trip, but if you wanted to, we have Freedom Folk and Soul Day on May 7th and June 4th
in Nashville, the first Saturdays of each month.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, good to know.
10 to 7 day long. We'll do breath work and a sweat lodge and some ceremonies and
All right. Well, everybody's got a lot to look out for.
Yeah.
If you're not connected to, if you're not engaging with, if you're not following both Jeremy and Stephanie here, you need to check out shamanheart.org. Check out freedomfolkandsoul.org. You won't be disappointed. And I believe both those sites probably have links to your site, Stephanie, to people can start getting your music as well too.
9 albums.
Yeah, you guys have it going on, and you're an impressive group. I have to say, and I'd like to. I know we're wrapping up, but I'd like to invite you now to maybe we can do another one of these before towards the end of the month, before the trip comes up, just to give folks another reminder. And I'd like to do this again too before Peru. Right?
Yes, thank you, Bob.
And hopefully then, hopefully you guys, we can have some before and after pictures, or maybe just give people a tour, with pictures. We can do that with StreamYard. That would be great.
That would be amazing. And we're so excited that you are considering joining us. That would be amazing. From the Grand Ole Opry to Peru.
Well, definitely the Grand Ole Opry, because I can get there pretty quick. Planning out Peru or Mexico is going to take a little bit more time, I think.
Sure.
So, well, thank you guys for being on the show. I really appreciate it. Don't leave just yet. Just hang on one second. But thank you. I appreciate it. And hopefully we'll be able to see you again.
Gracias. Bye, y'all.
Y'all.